Hey guys, I'm back on the 440 tonight. It's been a while, but I'm excited to be out here and show you my plan for pre-lubing the engine. What I'm going to do is pressurize the engine with oil, make sure it's getting to all the right places, and I'm doing it before I get my whole valve train installed, with all the push rods and all the lifters and everything as it's going to be once we button it up and putting the intake on. The reason I'm doing this now is it involves turning the engine over. And my thought process here is that I really don't want to be spinning the engine over with all the pressure of the valve springs, on the push rods, on the lifters, on the cam, any more than I have to. So my plan here is to just rotate the engine around, get the lube going to both sides, the driver and the passenger side. And then I'm probably relubing the camshaft, reinstalling the lifters, then assembling the push rods and the valve train. So that's my plan. All right, well, I'll walk you through it. I've got about 3 or 4 quarts of this driven braking oil in there. I've been using this along the way for assembly, so I poured what was left of 1 quart in there, and I threw 3 more quarts in. The oil pan is not full, but it's enough that the oil pump's gonna be able to get enough oil, pump it up here, and it'll drain back down and not run dry. Well, the first thing you're gonna need is a way to turn over your oil pump without spinning your engine around. And well, I ordered one actually, and it came, and apparently it's the wrong one. So it's hex drive, but this is too small to fit where the distributor goes. And although that's not a big issue, it's just too short. I think it's actually for a Ford. So I got antsy, and what I did is I grabbed my old, actual distributor drive gear that runs the oil pump, and I hit the gear on the chop saw and just basically knocked all the teeth off. Ran it around on the sanding wheel a little bit, basically just to get rid of the teeth so it does not engage in the camshaft. So put a little bit of lube on it. I'm just going to drop that in there and get it engaged in the oil pump. Doesn't really matter the orientation because, again, there are no teeth on it. It's not going to interface with the cam. You need something to drive it with. And I have a piece of steel that I machined down this end to make it like a screwdriver bit. I mean, you could probably even use a screwdriver, I guess, if you have an old one you don't mind ruining. Hey, I got fancy. I chucked this piece of polyurethane up in the lathe and made a nice little cap that goes in here. None of this stuff is really necessary, but I don't mind having some tools around that I didn't have before. So I'm all set there. Okay, make sure your drill is on reverse. You want to spin this basically. Oh boy, this is an old drill, but you want to spin it backwards. I apologize for my old junky drill here. I have better ones, but might as well use the old one. Who cares? I've turned the engine over to find out where the oil goes up to the valve train. On these big block Mopars, what you see here are these passageways that are going off of the number 4 journal on the cam. And there's a hole on that bearing journal that basically makes the oil head up to one or the other, not both at the same time. So I figured this out by just spinning this thing over really slowly, just like 10, 15 degrees at a time, and right in this like almost top dead center, 10 degrees before, that's where the passenger side, the 2468 cylinder bank is going to be bringing oil to the valve train. And my other mark is over here. It's about, looks like 90 degrees, I'd say, after top dead center. And that's where the driver's side, the 1357 bank is going to get its oil. So just a little tip, I think all the cams are the same. I can actually show you one. I grabbed one, the old one that came out of this engine. And let's see if this shows up. So yeah, camshaft, old used one. Here's the timing mark. You'd probably have it like this to get the, well, I don't know, with the timing gear on it, you're lining up the dots. But let's just say relative to where this is at here, give you a read. Here's one of the holes right there on the number 4, okay? So with that straight up, it's pointing here maybe 30 degrees from straight down. And then if you think about this cam turning around compared to the crankshaft, this thing has to go around twice for this thing to go around once. So if you were to rotate that 90 degrees, I think this would probably go 45. And then if you look down, you'll see the other hole is pointing over here opposite. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm guessing all the cams are the same way. If I bring it up here closer to the camera, I can just turn it a little bit and you can kind of see both of those holes. All right, so that's essentially how it works. Just have to get that cam in the right spot so that the everything lines up, and then the oil will come up to one of the two banks. Get this back in position here. Oh, and before I do, this is kind of interesting, I think. So again, my idea was, why do this with the engine all put together and spinning it around? Because I'm like, well, it's going to wipe all the lube off of the cam. And indeed, just one revolution of this engine. And if you look down, I don't know if it shows up too well, but you'll see that, you know, those cam lobes are, I mean, they're almost bare. You know, all the goop, you know, here's my assembly lube all piled up on the leading edge of that lifter. So it only takes one, or not even, well, I'd say one full revolution, and yeah, you're wiping all that assembly lube right off of there. Now there's of course a real fine film still on it, but you know, hey, I don't want to wipe out a cam. I'm going to pull all these lifters out, re-lube it before I put it back together the final time. Maybe that's overkill, but I'm here. It's not that big of a deal. All the lifters are in because this whole galley gets pressurized with oil, and you know, it goes across the lifters. In fact, it pumps them up. These are hydraulic lifters. So you'll see that happen, and it's gonna be pretty cool. All right, so let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit, and you can even rotate your engine over a little bit if you want. Get the bank that's gonna be getting oil kind of straight up and down. That way you won't make as much of a mess. And let me see if I can bring that into the camera view. I think that'll work. I'm not going to get too crazy with the oil here. We'll build some pressure. Again, drills on reverse, and go ahead and spin it over. Here comes that oil. So it all flowed up here. Get the camera up there so you can see it. All that oil shot right up there. You saw all those lifters pumping up and getting oil in them real fast. I mean, I'm not even spinning the drill full tilt, but just a slow spin on that thing, and boom, oil is everywhere it needs to be. Again, if you rotate the engine around, you can get your other bank lubed up. And now I know all the oil's getting where it needs to be. I won't have to worry about that later. Eventually I'll be putting the distributor the oil pump drive gear in there, and the distributor, and get this thing all buttoned up. But for now, that's what we're setting out to do. Just a quick pre-lube, shoot that quick video for you guys. And yeah, we'll get back after this thing with a little more detail later. See ya.